We have a 10-inch Dutch oven. We're going to go ahead and grease it up real good with some butter. In this bowl, we got 4 cups of Granny Smith apples. They've been sliced and peeled. To that, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Then we're just going to use our hands and get happy with it. Get it all mixed up real good. And then we're just going to push that aside and let it sit. We're going to dump all those apples with the spices into the bottom of the greased 10-inch Dutch oven. Camp oven, I should say, to be exact. Spread them around pretty evenly. Now we're going to take 1 box of cake mix and just dump it on top. In this case, we're using yellow cake mix, but I guess you can use whatever you want. Spread it fairly evenly across the top. Best we can, and then we'll spread it out with a spoon. Don't mix it into the apples. You just want it spread out on top of them. Then here we have a 1.5 cups of melted butter. We're just going to drizzle it around the top of the cake mix. And then see if we can just kind of mix it into the cake mix a little bit, but not mix it down into the apples. That's a lot of butter, but I like butter. What about y'all? Let me know in the comments. In this case, I'm using salted butter because that's all I had on hand. Recipe calls for unsalted, but I love the salty flavor of butter, so that's what we're doing. You do it the way you like. That's one thing about recipes. Just adjust them to what you like. Don't worry about what everybody else likes. Put the top on it. This is our Lodge 10-inch Dutch oven. You can see it's fairly full, but they say the cake mix doesn't rise too much, so we're going to go with it. All right, let's get it outside on the fire. We're looking for 350 degrees, so we're going to do 7 on bottom and 13 on top. I like to line up my handle in line with the table. That way when I rotate the pot, I can always keep track of whether I've rotated the lid. About every 10, 15 minutes, we're going to turn the pot a quarter turn or a half turn, and then turn the lid the same amount in the opposite direction. All right, it's been about 15 minutes. So we're going to spin it counterclockwise, about a quarter of a turn. Then spin the lid clockwise till the handle lines back up, and that's a quarter turn the opposite direction. We'll let it go another 15 minutes, and then we may need to replace the coals. That'll be about 30 minutes. We're going to bake it for around an hour, and then just check it and see how it's doing. We lit some fresh charcoal. I'm going to move the Dutch oven over to the new charcoal and then put 13 new ones on top. We're at about 30 minutes cook time right now. We're going to go for another 30 and then check it and see where we need to be. Looking good. 30 minutes in. There we go. 7 on bottom again, 13 on top. 10, double the size of the Dutch oven. 10, that's 20. And we go -3 and +3. So 10 minus 3, 7 on bottom. 10 plus 3, 13 on top. Plus or minus 1 for the wind and what have you. It's not very windy under here right now, so we're just going to go with that. About 33 minutes in. We'll check it again in 15 more. All right, it's been 50 minutes, 50, so let's take a look at it and see what we got. Looking really good. It needs some more time though. So I'm going to give it another 10 minutes and check it again. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and rotate it again. First counterclockwise. And the lid clockwise. There we go. We'll give it 10 more minutes and check it again. Been another 10 minutes. We pulled all the heat off of it, top and bottom, and we're just going to let it sit. Let it cool down just a little bit, and then we're going to serve it up. We'll see y'all inside. There we go. Apple dump cobbler. Let's see how it is. Cheers. Man, that's good. The brown sugar gives it kind of a dark sweetness, which offsets the tartness of the Granny Smith apples. They're kind of tart, but they're not too tart in this recipe because of the brown sugar. Nutmeg and cinnamon give their touch to it, give it an extra layer of flavor. It's really good, really good. I was kind of thinking maybe it would taste too cakey with the cake mix, but no, it's kind of like a dump cobbler. It's a really good dump cake. It's easy. Dump cobbler, I should say. It's easy because everything's already in that box. Give it a try. All right, well, we hope y'all enjoyed this episode of Rashley's Barbecue. Be back next week, and we don't know what we're going to be cooking, but it'll be good, I'm sure. So join us again. Click like, subscribe, and we'll catch y'all later on down the road on Rashley's Border Q. Adios.